Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for the 8th of April, and we'll look at the S&P, the Russell, the NASDAQ and some stocks. And with the S&P here, there's not a lot of change, but I think one of the things that we can take away here from the S&P count and also the NASDAQ count, if you're trading stock, then once we get to this fifth wave here, then you'll need to look at taking profits on those trades. Okay, so in the bigger picture here, we'll be looking at this. We'll be looking at this pattern here, this classic trading levels pattern. So if this is the 4,000 here, we've had the arrival, which didn't quite get there. We had the reaction, and then we're in the first high above the level. So we're looking for 5 waves in this sequence, and then we're looking for an ABC correction. But this ABC correction will probably come lower, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, in the bigger picture, we'll be seeing further upside. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the corrective pattern as a larger wave 4, and then a move to the upside on that. So in this instance here, this would be the arrival, the reaction, and the first high above the level is always in 5 waves, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll see a larger correction here, and we'll talk about that probably. Well, but anyway, I'm starting to talk about it now, obviously, so that's what we'll be looking at more so as time goes on. But our main focus this week really is just this this impulse wave here for this. So it's all pretty straightforward. Let's just cruise in and check on it. So don't worry about my mess to the right there. We'll just chuck that back under the bed. And we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Bit of a small fourth wave here, but we'll take a closer look at that, and then up for wave 5 here. So we're looking for a bit of a correction across this level before we see another move to the upside, something of this nature here for that top. It's all pretty sort of simple as such, so we might be able to capture that in on some flags here, some trend lines, copy. I don't know if it's going to be any good. Might help out a little bit along the line, you know. So that might all fall back. We'll pull all of this back over here for this. So normally with trend lines, something up the top here would be overbought, and then coming back into the trend lines over here, oversold. So we'll keep that in mind. So we'll probably have to drag all this across here. But anyway, we can do all that a bit later on. So on the hourly chart where we're keeping our trades, we've got a few trades down here. We've been moving the stop up. We've got a few here. Now that wave 4 is in, I'm going to bring that just up under here, and I won't put it way up under here, because if I've made a mistake, I'll be sort of clipped out. But that's where we'll put it for the time being. If this wave 4 here is correct, which is a little bit small, but we'll just go with it, we should see this wave 5 push up here. How far will it go? See, the thing that sort of haunts me a little bit is this first little wave just in here that sort of would tell me that, see, if I've made a mistake, then my mistake would be that this wave 4 would be here, and this wave 5 would be here, and this wave 4 would be here. So I'll just put that in there, and I'll just check on that a little bit later. It just feels right if I do that, but tracking it up, I've done that, but it would be this little wave I've missed in here for that. Because normally what I would also see too, supporting this, would be a little move up through here, coming into group 1. So group 1, I mean, we've got from 4,000, we've got minor group 1, which is 100, 200 and 300. But then when we're coming into the 100 here, subgroup 1, the next degree lower, would be 10, 20 and 30 in here. So normally we wouldn't expect the market to find support on top of 30. It could trade to 40 or 35 or 33 or 34 or something, but yeah, it would end up coming back down and being here for this and then moving up from that point. That would be the normal process based on this, and this here would become the support for this. The other reason I think this too is because if the extension's in wave 3 here, which it is, well then wave 1 here and wave 5 would be roughly the same length, which would take me up to the 4-2. So that's possible, but I just think that we should be more mindful of a bit of a dance across the 4-1 here, which would be roughly the same pattern as this here, or a variation on that. But so let's just we'll go to the tick chart. Not that it's going to help us much, but we'll just check on it. Just good to monitor things. I have to put a bit more data in. So this is our trend up. Yeah, so it's this wave. One of the it's this one here that bothers me, and I've mentioned it before. We've moved that up here somewhere, haven't we? Not that it matters. Yeah, so that bothers me a little bit, because here I could see we've got a third wave in here and then a fourth and a fifth in here. So this would have to be like 1 and ABC for 2 here and 3. So I'm still left with this little guy here. So, and also too, it just doesn't seem, this wave 4 doesn't seem big enough. You know, wave 2 was simple and sharp. Wave 4 should be sideways and complex, and it is a bit sideways, but it's not, you know, it's not, just doesn't seem big enough. But anyway, from here we've got 4-1, which is a minor level, and it's the first level within group 1, and then we've got the sub levels, as I just mentioned, above here and also below here. So this is group 2 and group 1. So that should be the swing range for any correction that's going to occur at this level. So it's good to know that, because then you can just relax and give it some time and so on and so on. And because also too with corrections, you know, you need to know, with corrections as well as trends, there's beginning, a middle and end. It's a lot more emotional, the corrections, and obviously that's where people lose money. But I like corrections because it's where the next trend is engineered from. So it gives you an opportunity, as long as you don't sort of panic and you sort of got a rough idea of what's sort of unfolding here for this. So staying with our original count, which is this one here, we should see a move up in here somewhere into group 1. It can go a little bit higher, but we don't want it finding support on top of group 1 there, subgroup 1, which is 30. So we don't want to see a little classic trading levels pattern coming into here like this here. It can do all of that, but when it gets to here, it needs to come down at that point. If it finds support, if it takes that top out by the second top or the top here by coming back up here, then you need to be long at that point. And if once it's been dancing up here for a little bit, if the number 2 here within group 1 becomes the retested resistance, then you know that the market's going to be pulled back. And if it's going to be pulled back to the closest largest number, the 4-1 in this case, well then it's going to be pulled back into this space as well. So the 2 as a retested resistance is very handy, but only if the market is traded up higher than it, not on the way up. Okay, so this would be basically the correction. This staying with our original count here, this would be the pattern that we're looking at. But I'm thinking that it may be just this wave 4 over here for that. We'll see. Right, so that's that. Look, let's just go back over this a second. Let's just recap this a little bit. Let's go back to the 4-hour chart here. So we've got long trades in. There's no reason to panic. We just need to stay long, and we'll be heading up to 4,300 somewhere. So I think our stop is here somewhere. So we're well out of the way. From this low here, 5 waves up here, then the center of the trend would be somewhere right in here. That would be the center of the whole trend. So we can pretty much grab this distance here and then flip it back over on its head over to this side over here, a mirror image of it. Well, roughly, you know. Well, when men look in the mirror, they're always better looking than what the mirror says, I guess. Okay, so that's that. We can just stay in the trend and make money. Now the Russell, as I've mentioned, I haven't really had time to ponder this. That's my issue with this, but it's possible that we've got a top in here already, putting wave 5 here and 4 here and 3 here. That's all sort of possible. But I felt that we've done all the right things. But I'll just leave this here for the time being, just to let you know that. I mean, I don't trade this much, so it doesn't at all, so it doesn't sort of concern me. But if this was going to move up, it can come down to the 2,200 roughly, and then move up from that point. And that's because this move up here and back here would be the 61.8%. From the top to the low here, it's moved up to the 78.6, but also to the top of group 1. Wherever you see a 3, then it's going to be part of a group 1 somewhere. So from the 2000, we've got minor group 1, 1, 2, and 3. So we need support on this level. So we've got the first high above the level, but we don't have any support. It didn't click in. It didn't click in here, here, and here. So it's kind of kept us safe. So I was a bit cheeky buying it a bit lower in here, or mentioning that it was a setup there. So this can quite easily be an A and a B and a C correction, right? But I can't go there just yet because the move down here is in 5 waves. This is an hourly chart, and then back up, and then another 5 coming into here. So that's probably, oh yeah, that could be done. So it may just be finished here and we can go straight up from this point. So just be a bit mindful of that. And if you wanted to move into it, you could probably move across in that fashion, because it is 3 waves and not 5 waves. If this turns into 5 waves coming down here, well, then we've got a problem, because then we would rally back up into 50-60%, and then we'd come down again at that point, and then we'll have to look at it in a different light. But let's just give it a session or so to play out. And then the NASDAQ and some stocks. So the NASDAQ is really just the same as the S&P, so I don't need to spend a lot of time on it. But in a nutshell, wave 4 here with wave 1, ABC for 2 here. And this all took a long time, and because we're going into the third of the third here, the third of the third, we expected it to move off quite nicely, and that's what's happened. We've seen rallies in stock, and yeah, everything's going quite well. So for this here, we're still looking for wave 5, 4, and 5 here. So it just depends on how you want to trade this, really. There's going to be problems at 13,800. 8's a profit taking number, so you can expect the bids to be hit at that point. Sales coming, and obviously the 14 here, and obviously we've got the old high here. So anywhere from the 800 to the 14 here, we're going to experience this wave 3 or 4 here for this. That can pull back to, if that's the right wave 4 here, then it can pull back, and I should just make that a bit more obvious there. It may not be the case, but just generally speaking, we would see a move up here, in some space up here. So that would be a nice place to take a percentage in this case, because we're dealing with the old high and we'll be stuck there for a while. So taking a percentage if you're long in that situation, because it will come back. It could come back to the 500 here as well for that. If not, there would be group 2. So with the 800 here, we can go to the 72 and the 65 in here, which would be the 665. So that needs to be viewed as well. So just on the on the hourly chart here. We've got a few positions in here for this. So we can move our stop up now for this. So that's all good. I'll just keep it to here at the moment. I'll be, because this is where it gets a little bit rough up here, but we're going to be looking at, in this case, because some of the NASDAQ stocks can turn lower, we'll need to also consider taking a percentage in this space here. So I'll try and nail that down, but if you see weakness in there, so it's a matter of so this is, well, from the 13,000 to the 14,000, we can count the Fibonacci sequence 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. When we count 8, we also count group 2 in here as well. I won't go into the reasons for that. There's even some reasons I don't know, but they just still work quite well. So we can see that we've touched on the 665 here for this, and so that's the beginning of group 2 here. So we'll eventually see the market climb up into group 2, and then group 2 will become the support for the correction later on. So just depending on how high this goes here, because it's got the old high here, roughly around here. I mean, normally I'd just say that, the market would go up to above the 14,000 and here, and we would sit for this wave 4 within group 2 here, because this is big. This is where the support is starting to build for this wave 4 over yonder here, and not pull back to the 500 at that point. It would sit within group 2 here, but because of that previous high over here of the blue wave 3 is lower, then it's possible to pull back down here. So we'll just keep an eye on it. But yeah, if you wanted to take a percentage, that's it. If you wanted to hold all of this, well, then you'll need to keep the stop under here for that. How much should you take off here? Well, that just depends on yourself and what you're thinking and comfortability is in all of that. Alrighty, let's have a look at some stock. So with Amazon here, it would be nice if it was going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, but the time that the NASDAQ tops out and the S&P, this would still need to be climbing higher while the others are falling. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible. It can do its own thing. It's big and ugly enough. But if those other markets are going to fall, then it's possible that this wave 4 can come into play here, and this whole correction just gets a bit uglier in all of that. So I don't know the answer, but I know what I will do about it. So to me, the 3,000 here we've got, which is a major level, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, same story. But then above that, we've got the minor levels here. So 1, 2, and 3 again. If we get a tested support on this level, then we can move up from that point. So we'd need to see a little classic trading levels pattern sitting at the 300, the same as this, the arrival, the reaction, first high above the level, and all of that. So we could go into the tick chart and just have a closer look at that. So I've been counting it up as corrective, but I've got this wave 1 here and wave 2 here as an alternative count to go high with this. Now we've got a position in here and here and here, and we've got our stop here at the moment. We looked at taking a percentage here for this. So what I'm thinking, if this is going to be an A wave and a B wave here, and this could be counted differently, it doesn't really matter, it still leaves the B wave here for this, okay? So what is important though is this 5 waves up through here. So if we were going to get a classic trading levels pattern for this, then it would be sitting on top of this level here. So if we were going to go long again, this is where we can take profit in this 5th wave area through here. If we were going to go long again, we would end up with a classic trading levels pattern here and then moving up there again. So we'll be able to look at going long again, building a position on top of 3.3 here. But if it fails to do this, this is where it's going to move down. And then if it was going to move down, then I wouldn't be able to confirm that it's going down until the 200, number 2 here, becomes the retested resistance. So that, in coming the retested resistance, it won't be at the 2, it will be down here further for that. So that brings us way back down here. So that's a lot of money to lose in this. So that's why we're going to be a little bit more edgy and play a tighter game on all of this. So hopefully you've taken a percentage in this area here, and we'll look at taking the rest in this fifth wave here. We can follow the NASDAQ up and take it in that space there as well. We'll just see how it plays out. Yeah, I'm happy with that count, so that's all good. This wave 4 can pull back to the wave 4 1 lesser degree down here. Just be mindful of that, but we'll keep our stop out of the way. Okay, so that's Amazon. Alphabet, we're going to do the same as well. Yeah, so we'll be looking to take profit. We'll go into the intraday with this a little bit later on. I won't do it now, but from this impulse wave coming up here, it might be possible to count this as 1 and 2 in here. I doubt it. Now that I'll have to check some other data to see what made a new low here, but once again, we've got 2,000, which is a major trading level, 1, 2, 3, 5, so on. And then we've got group 1 here again as well. So we really want to be looking to take profit here as well. If I can just move that and just put that there. So I think taking a percentage at the 300, and then we'll also look how to handle, we'll have the same setup here as well for that. So we've got a trade on here, and we've moved the stop up to cover the cost on this trade. So we've got pocket money in this. So yeah, all looking good on this one. And Apple is another one like Tesla, where we can have this 5 wave move down here, and then an A and a B and a C wave. So this C wave here, looking the 5 waves up here, would be, you know, looking for the top in the NASDAQ, so to speak. So it's also at 130, so that's also group 1 minor group 1 of 100, which is a major trading level, 1, 2 and 3, and then 5 and 8, but this is a medium level here. So look, I think that, you know, we'll be looking to move up into this space and then turning down. If we get a classic trading levels pattern sitting at the 130, by all means we can go long again. But in the meantime, we've got positions in this as well, I think, down here. Let me bring in a bit more data. So we've had an A wave, and this is the B wave, and we're going up for the C wave to the B wave here. I do need to check on all of this here, but we have a position in here. We have it to, we have a little bit of profit there, whatever, and we're looking up here further. So this is our 50 and 60% retracement level area here. So we'll just track this up. I do need to go back over this. If somebody's pulled all this apart on a tick chart and has got a different count, please let me know, because I haven't really put a lot of work into it. So what we can see here, we can use this here, that's a little wave 1 in there, little wave 2, probably, I don't know, we'll just check on that later, and this will be 3. So we've got time. I don't need to do anything here really. So we've got time here, but this may be wrong here, this count, but anyway, needs checking, but it's kind of okay in a way, because we know where we are and we're going higher for all of this. Well, that should have been at 8. That's right. Sorry about that. So between So we've got minor levels of 110, 120 and 130. Okay, so I'll just delete that, copy that, pop that in there just to give us some definition really. So so we've got minor levels of 10, 20 and 30, and then between 20 and 30 we've got the sub-levels. So the sub-levels run the same as well. We've got, well, 21 in here, 22, 23, so the same thing again, 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 here. And you can see how they play out here quite nicely. So they are useful in that regard, but these are sub-levels, the next level down below the minor levels, which the degree of the Elliott Wave structures works quite well with if we break it down with the degree of price as well, and using the price as a Fibonacci ratio, as a price ratio. So anyway, that's all good there. And this is square. So with square here, yeah, I haven't come to an answer with this. I haven't quite figured it out, but we'll just need to be mindful that and we've definitely got this down here as a three-wave move. So this is corrective, and it's in three waves. So we could end up with a triangle here. We don't know. We could end up with something else more. We could end up being really simple as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and then going up for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, making a new high here and finishing it off at that point, and coming down at that stage. Or we're going to go, well, if that's wave 1 and 2 here, so it's hard to see even, but yeah, it'd have to be a triangle at that point. Let's just go to the tick chart here. So we've hit the medium level there anyway. So 200, 100, 200, 300 are the major levels, and halfway between major levels all the time is the medium levels here. But if I went from 200 to 300 here, with the minor levels, would be 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 here. And basically breaking it down into group 1, the medium level, group 2 here, and then the next major level. So it's just breaking down the problem, that's all, into parts, which I find quite handy. And and the numbers help us with the psychology. So if the market's moving up here, well, people are thinking of 250, aren't they? They're not thinking of 253 or 247 and all those sort of things. And generally this thinking of this particular number. But if you want to break that number down, well, then you could break it down to, well, the number under that would be, well, 9, 8 and 7. Well, most people think of 8 when they're coming to there. So yeah, understanding numbers a bit in a different, understanding numbers as more of a personality character thing rather than just a cold number. Let's just bring in a bit more data here for this. So this is what we've got so far. We've got the A wave, the B wave and the C wave, and this is in 5 waves here. So it's possible that we could have this as an A wave here, a B, C, D and E here, because it's either got to, this market's either got to go to, it's got to go 1, 2, 3, a little bit more up here, 4 and 5 up here. It's got to reach into new highs here. It's either got to do that, or we'll end up, if it doesn't move along, then we'll have to look at a corrective pattern. But so far with this, we're going well, in that we've got a very clear 5-wave structure here for this. So wave 1 and wave 2. Oh, that's interesting. I should be able to do the other ones like that then. And sorry, just thinking of another stock, not the same pattern, but so wave 3 here is still a little bit short compared to wave 1, so I don't think that we're done with this yet. Just generally speaking, we'd want wave 3 to be a bit higher. So somewhere in here be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in here. So let me just pull this in here. And PayPal must be going okay as well, because it's going to do its rollout for Bitcoin, isn't it, for commercials. So we'll be able to accept, I mean, I use PayPal, so I'll be able to add accept Bitcoin shortly. So there's going to be millions upon millions of customers like me that will be doing taking Bitcoin. So that's going to be good for PayPal. So that be worth looking at that. And so we'll see wave 5 up here for this, and then wave 4 coming in play here, and then going up again from that point. So this is the one, this is the move that we're going to be following. Will it take us high enough and be there for that? I don't know. But what we can say is that we need to yeah, we'll just keep it in. I think we might be all right actually, but at the same time, I think that we also need to take a decent percentage at that point. So I'll leave that there. So when that wave 5 comes in, it may not get to the 265 at that point. We'll just see how it goes, but we need to count 5 little waves up here, and then we need to take a good chunk at that point. We can always move back in, because from wave 4 back down, from wave 3 back down to wave 4, that can pull back to the wave 4 one less degree. And we've seen the arrival here, the reaction, and the first high above the level, then the ABC pattern. So we should be able to move back into this over here somewhere for that. If we can see that this is going to be, if we can note it, label it as being corrective, because we just got to be careful this doesn't finish in 3 waves as an A and a B and a C, some part of some sort of triangle or something. So we can also move the stop up here now as well. Sorry, I get a bit slack about that, but we'll just pop it there. And because we're taking a percentage here, we don't need to bring the stop right up. We may accommodate this. I mean, wave 2 didn't really pull back that much for that. Going to put that over there for a moment. So this is a little bit like Apple, this one here, where it's possible that we've got 5 waves down here, and I think that's the case, because if we have wave 4 here, it's just not going to get up to the top tier in time enough, you know. It just hasn't got the time to get to where it needs to get to, the time the S&P and the NASDAQ roll over. So I'm thinking this is how it's going to be with this. Let's check it on the tick chart. So let me get a bit more data in here for this. And the other thing about it being bullish to the upside as wave 1 here is I just never got 5 waves up here, you know. It was just really that high was just giving me 3 waves up here. So I think I have to go back over here for that and remove that and remove that here. Sorry, Adrian, I tried, but I just don't think it's got the legs to get up there in that regard, you know. And I also think too that, I mean, this has given me a bit of a problem in this area through here. So we've got our trades to break even at this point. That's where our stop is. But this particular pattern here, this top here, this sharp move down, and then the gap back up here, and then this move down through here, that really reminded me of Square. So when we look at Square here, this move coming up here, we had the, well, not a sharp move down, but the gap, and then that here. So, and we've got this labeled as wave 1 here and 2 here. So because that's 5 waves here, I wonder if we've actually got a top in play here for this. So what I'm thinking is that I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. I know folks don't like me doing this while I'm, you know, I should have all this sorted out, but I think it's also good for people to see the process that I go through for this, you know. So, because we're just exploring ideas in the video, that's really all we're doing. So this is either going to be wave, because if we look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, then that's C of B here, and that's that can be the, I was expecting it to come down to this point and then push up from this point, but let's just see how we go with that. But there could be a possible top in play here for this. One, two, three, four, five. So we're looking for 5 waves to come down yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There probably still looks like a little bit more to come down here actually. So we don't need this here, it just makes a mess. I mean, obviously the market would like to cover that gap. So that's why we've got our stop just under that there, because it could just come down to this point and then move off from that point. Look, I think we've just, I think it's, you know, I think I've done the right thing. It's just a set and forget. We've got our positions covered. You know, maybe we could put the stop under this one here, but I don't want to leave that position exposed. The other side of the coin here would be if we take this low here and this high here, then the 50-60% retracement levels down here for this. So we don't need this one. So if it was going to be bullish and we call that wave 1 here, then wave 2 would have to be here for this. But it just doesn't give us enough time, you know. It doesn't, to label that 1 and 2 just wouldn't be enough time for the market to push that higher. But anyway, we'll just keep playing with both counts here. And anyway, that wouldn't be wave 1 of that degree there either, so I'd need to put this in. It's possible, we'll just play it out. If you want to put your stop under the level, then that's fine too. But I'll just leave it where it is, because if it is wave 2 and it's going to be into wave 3, well then I'll catch it on the flip side here. And that's it. Alrighty, sorry for the long video, but you know, you can just watch what you want really. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. Cheers.